As one of the latest EV startups to begin production and delivery, Fisker Automotive is generating a lot of buzz among stock market investors. So in this video, I'm going to take a brief look into why everyone is talking about Fisker Automotive stock. So let's get right into some details here, starting with the fact that the company generated a $120 million loss in its most recent quarter, but it does have $652 million in cash on hand, so it can survive a few more quarters even at this rate with the cash it has on hand. However, it can also sell existing shares in the market to raise more cash, and it did that in its most recent quarter, bringing in $47 million. It has roughly $300 million more to go in an existing at the market facility. But the big news, and why I think everyone is talking about Fisker Automotive, is the production and deliveries. It's starting to ramp up. The company now expects to produce between 1,400 and 1,700 vehicles in the second quarter. That's a huge ramp. Of course, the company delivered its first car in the first quarter, and that was exciting news to begin with. So the company expects to end the third quarter at over 1,500 vehicles per week. So it's going from an average of 1,500 vehicles produced for an entire quarter all the way up to being 1,500 vehicles produced per week. It expects to do this between the second and third quarters. Now, in my opinion, that's an optimistic outlook. That's an optimistic outlook considering all of the other electric vehicle startups I follow. There tends to be issues that slow down the ramping up of production that quickly. If it is, however, able to achieve that, that would equate to being at an over 70,000 unit annual run rate. That would be significant. To put that figure into context, Rivian plans to produce 50,000 cars in 2023. 50,000. So, just to put that figure into context. Now, Fisker Automotive is revising their calendar 2023 production guidance downward to 32,000 to 36,000 units, and it's now saying that this is a conservative outlook. Of course, the previous forecast called for roughly 42,000 units for 2023, so they brought that down by roughly 10,000, but still producing 32,000 to 36,000 units for what amounts to about half a year of production would be impressive to be sure, although it remains to be seen if it will actually achieve this feat. And even more impressive would be the fact that the company's anticipating to be gross margin positive for the full year in 2023, targeting gross profit margins in the range of 8 to 12%, and potentially adjusted EBITDA positive if its input costs do not change drastically. Now, those are optimistic forecasts, in my opinion, and not conservative numbers. So, if the company is able to achieve these targets, I think that could be a positive catalyst for the stock price, which has been under pressure after reaching highs around 2021. So, these are very nice figures, and I'll compare it again to Rivian. Rivian doesn't expect to be gross profit margin positive until the end of 2024. Now, of course, this isn't an apples to apples comparison, but I'm just picking one of these EV companies, and Rivian really ramped up production in 2022, so it's about 1.5 year ahead of I would say 1.5 to 2.5 years ahead of Fisker in terms of production, and they're taking on different business models to ramp up production, so they're not exactly similar. But I just chose it as something to put it into context with. And so if it is able to achieve these guidance, these targets for 2023, the stock price could lift higher. Now, this remains to be a big if for achieving these targets. And if you ask me to take the over or under on these targets, I would take the under, both in terms of the production and in terms of the gross profit margin. So you have me on record here saying that. And so at the end of the year, I'll update this stock, and if they achieve this feat, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong, and they outperformed even my expectations. All right, but that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.